Hey folks, it's Bob down here working on the bomber. We've been making some headway here. Let me turn this around. We've been working on the pass-through for our propeller governor line, oil line. This will end up coming up here once the governor is installed. Jan's over working on that right at the moment. We're also trying to get the routing done. This is an old P lead, goes through here, and we still have to route it through the engine, and then it's going to come through. There's a missing stainless steel shield that goes right here, so the P lead's going to go through about right here, and the propeller governor oil line's going to go through about right here. So that's what we've been working on today. Like I said, Jan's been over here. Doing the, not yet. Jan's over here doing some adjustments to the bracket for the propeller governor. Trying to get it, they're all a little wonky, and so he's trying to make some repairs to it. In the meantime, Doug has been up here in the cockpit. And he's got this clear cover for getting into our hydraulic reservoir system. The landing gear valve is changed. We have a couple of little leaks that we have to deal with before we fill this up with hydraulic fluid again. And we're getting really close to being able to put this bad boy up on its landing gear and get ready to install the engines. So this, as I've said before, this has been a journey of discovery for us. Learning, because this came in pieces to us. So we're just pouring through the books and advice from other operators and figuring out what goes where. So once we get this routing done for these P leads and the prop governor line and all of that stuff, then this engine mount's going to come off of here. It'll get bolted onto here, and then we can dress out the accessories on both engines at the same time. And in other news, Jan's Mustang, he's a fair ways of putting the systems back together on his Mustang. Now, there was a lot of conversation about how this works, and hold on. Okay, now that the compressor's off, Jan's going to do some explanations about what this accessory drive unit is all about. So this is for the propeller drive.
This is the propeller governor right here. This is the manifold, so the propeller governor will mount to here. Back in here, attached through here, will be a bracket that mounts to this guy here for cable control to the governor. This is the oil pump, so you got one pressure and two scavenge stages. Water pump is down here, going into the firewall. Down here that you don't see yet is the magneto.
Mounts on this bracket right down here.
There. And the engine is already timed. We're just waiting for the magneto to go on and do the magneto timing. This is the fuel pump pad.
And then the supercharger housing.
Supercharger will be mounted way in the bottom.
Way in the bottom down here. And this is the belt to drive it right here.
And I might add that there are currently 4 of these accessory drive units flying right now, and they haven't had any problem with it at all. Just me with mine rubbing, and so we had to fix that.
And to be clear, this engine will run independently of this ADU. When Jan ran it 3 hours on the test cell, it was ran by a regular manifold and carburetor and an oil pan and an oil pump. And so when Jan was trying to start this the other day, it was the first time that it had been run with all of these systems, and it's very complicated. And yes, this is not a Merlin. This is aluminum block and head based Chevy platform, 540 cubic inches.
Built to an aviation standard, about as close as you can get. This is
And
not a crate motor. Don't ever fly crate motors in these kind of airplanes. They don't last.
yeah,
They don't have the right cam for it anyway.
right. And then up here, this is the propeller governor, or propeller.
This is
The
the
prop speed.
PSRU unit, the propeller speed reduction unit, which has a big gear up in here and the crank pinion down here, so it slows the propeller down by half, about 2.13 to 1. And this is a Barnes oil pump for the PSRU oil tank here. So we got one pressure on one scavenge section to pressurize this, pressurize the propeller governor, get it to all drain back, and then back to tank. So
Yeah.
and then this right here is the coolant header tank.
So to be clear, this isn't like taking your 1972 Chevy small block out of your pickup. It's very, very complicated, and there's all kinds of totally fabricated pipes and hoses and just figuring it out. And this ADU was engineered by several different sources to make sure that this would do what it did. It's just unfortunate that the clearance was a little tight on the pieces that were in there. So hopefully next week, Jan will have this all back together again. We'll have the other engine all dressed out and have the engine mount on it, and then we can start doing those. We have, let me turn this around. We still have the panels to go on tops of the wings. The Sparkies are working on those. Once those are done and all of the gaps are pro sealed or PRC'd to seal the gaps, then we're going to attempt to put this thing up on its landing gear for the first time in 20 some years. So getting excited about that.
And get ready for engine installation.
And get ready for engine installation. Okay, bye for now. Subscribe, like, do all that stuff. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.